For so many of us that own real estate, there's one important consideration, which is who's going to own this piece of real estate after I pass away? For those people that are interested in deciding that in advance, there's a proactive solution available to them, which is called a life estate deed. A life estate deed is simply a deed which an owner of a piece of real estate can sign and record into the county land records, which says, when I pass away, this piece of real estate is owned by fill in the blank. And the owner of the real estate fills in the blank with the name of the person or persons that they would like to see own their real estate after they pass away. Now, this arrangement is attractive because it is both flexible and inexpensive to set up. But there are some more details that you should be aware of. Let's get into them. Okay, so you understand that a life estate deed transfers ownership upon the death of the owner to somebody else. What else do you need to know? Every real estate professional needs to know two things about life estate deeds. First is that every life estate deed involves two parties, and those parties have specific names that they are called by. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that there are two different types of life estates. We need to decide which one we're choosing. So first, we're going to talk about the two different parties in the life estate. Second, we're going to talk about the two different types of life estates. On a life estate deed, there's always going to be the names of a couple of parties on there. First is obvious. The owner of the property, the one who is signing the deed and creating the life estate. That person in the deed is referred to as the life tenant. They have the life tenancy in the property because they have the right to live there for the rest of their life, and upon the death, it'll be passed to the other party in the transaction, who is referred to as the remainder person. Lawyers came up with that word because that person takes whatever interest remains from the person who passed away upon their death. So you have the life tenant, they're the one creating the life estate, and you have the remainder person. Those are the two parties in the life estate. Okay, now things are getting interesting because we can talk about the two different forms of life estates. Up until now, what I've said is that anybody that owns real estate can sign a deed which transfers ownership to a third party upon the owner's death. And that's true regardless of which form of life estate the owner chooses. But they are not the same. There's a big difference between them. So let's talk about the two different forms. Here's the first. In the first form of life estate, the owner of the property retains full control over it. So after they create the life estate, they go on living for a number of years, and if they decide they want to sell that property at any point, they can. If they decide they want to refinance it and put a mortgage on the property, they can. If they decide they want to give the property to somebody else, they can. If they decide they want to end the life estate and return full ownership to themselves, they can do that too. They have what we call a life estate with full powers. The second kind of life estate is what we call a life estate with no powers. In this arrangement, the owner of the property, when they sign the deed and create the life estate, they give up the powers of disposition. So after the life estate is created, they can't sell the property. They can no longer mortgage the property. They can't give it to anybody else. And without somebody else's consent, they can't even end the life estate. The life tenant retains legal ownership of the property and the right to occupy it for the rest of their life, but no other rights. If you're wondering why somebody would sign a deed that gives up these kinds of rights, the most common application here are estate planning purposes, people that are elderly and looking to the future. When we face up to it, we know that the real estate we own is going to outlast us. So there's some comfort in knowing who's going to own our real estate after we pass away. A lot of people are comforted by knowing that their life estate deed is an arrangement that's formalized and recorded into the county land records. Also, it's highly effective. Life estate deeds avoid probate, so that upon the death of the life tenant, the remainder person takes full ownership of the property instantly and automatically. By operation of law, no paperwork necessary. So, that's what you need to know about life estates. If you've got questions or I can be of assistance, please let me know.